CringeCon.
Ring, ring, ring. Hero, simps, virgins, and more
Whoa!
boys. And welcome back to Krown's
respectful.
magical darkness cave.
Found on my face. Well. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It is a lovely Thursday morning over here. The B word event has happened, and what does that mean? Absolutely fucking nothing, man. As predicted, exactly as predicted, and this is something that you could very likely predict, by the way. Very little was actually discussed during that event, and what do you know? Bitcoin price action actually does pump into it, and did you take a bit of a position into that? Did you look at it as a bit of an edge? Well, perhaps you did, and in that case, we do have a few trades actually staring us right in the face on the shorter term time frames right now, and there's actually a few interesting things going on, more importantly coming into today and tomorrow, that is. Anyways, with that said, I would like to wish everyone the best of the best and the happiest, because why the fuck not? And especially you, Mr. Randy, in the chats over there. Mr. Randy says, I sure wish Krown would respect our time by starting on time. Oh, sir, I feel oh so terrible about that. My apologies, sir. Would you like anything else in your life? And if there's anything else I could do for you, please do let me know. No, man, I don't take it personally. It's all good. But I should warn you, the internet is a very dark and dangerous place, and you have a very unhealthy sense of entitlement, so be careful with that. We also have a great comment over here too, Mr. Tony Berg. This is actually a really good, this is actually quite bizarre. I read that someone in England beat a seagull to death. Stupid bad luck when you lie on an island. I like it, baby. I fucking like it. Kill all birds, holocaust them. They're terrible creatures, and they should all die. They're fucking dinosaurs, and god damn it, man, God tried to kill all of them already, and he missed a few of them. Also the alligators too, man, because those things scare the shit out of me. Anyways, with that said, into the Krown Chain application we go, which we found at app.krownchain.net. And what do we see over here? By the way, it's 100% free. I forgot to mention that, but you already know probably, because no one's new on this channel right now. This is the dog days of this market right now. Anyways, what do we see? Bitcoin dominance still steady at 46.5%. I do look at that as more or less still looking for a continuation of uptrend. We are consolidating, obviously, but whatever Bitcoin decides to do from here, it's very unlikely going to benefit the altcoin Bitcoin parents. Now, if Bitcoin can pick itself up versus US dollar, that's a different story, obviously. And if Bitcoin does not and actually choose the downside here, well, you can suspect that altcoin is going to more or less do the same thing in general. Not every single one. There's going to be a few outliers here and there, obviously, but for the most part, that will be true. Anyways. Did he? Oh dear God, man. Hey, a-hole, when you say 10 p.m., that usually means 10 p.m. Sorry, sir. I'll process your refund right now, man. Jesus Christ. Do you like on Christmas when someone gives you a gift, do you go, hey, fuck you, man, fuck you? Like, what the hell? Jesus Christ, dude. Like, goddamn. You realize these are just videos on YouTube, man. You know, I'm not like a fucking TV channel. Anyways, let's go check out the market data tab over here.
Randy, you need to get laid.
Whoa! Okay, we didn't need to go that far, man. Jesus Christ. I apologize about that one. That was a little bit too far. Look, we're all friends here. We're just having a little bit of shit talking. That's all, man. It's all good. Anyways, global funding rate is still negative, so shorts are still bleeding as they do hold their positions for the last 2.5 months now, which is more or less going to not necessarily favor the upside, but going to be a bit of a consideration going on right here. As Bitcoin's been more or less sideways, holding the range still. Best case for Bulos, as we've been saying for the past 2.5 months now, and I still suspect that if Bitcoin Bulos can hold this for another couple months here, or about a month and a half, I would say until the end of summer, that is, then that's going to be more or less good for the Bulos. Again, I do believe that's best case scenario for Bulos. Barrels want to take over probably as soon as possible. In fact, I kind of think that they had their chance a couple days ago, and no continuation was had. So what does that imply? Well, probably more of the same. Anyways, global exchanges net flows are once again negative, ever so slightly. Not anything too crazy right there. I do want to once again highlight, however, that we had a massive inflow, one of the biggest inflows that we've seen in the past year, in fact, only outdone by what we saw over here in February, where we did see about 28,000, almost 29,000 Bitcoin flowing into exchanges. So what are they doing with that? Definitely leveraging more shitcoins, right? Anyways, into the fourth tab we go as well. I just want to check out GBTC holdings over here, still staying steady. So we don't see anything too different right there. And actually, we can even see how much holdings they do have, which is, holy fuck, man, that is a lot. 651,000 Bitcoin. They must be one of the biggest holders of Bitcoin outside of maybe Satoshi's wallet. That is insane. Also, the whale ratio over here is starting to go down as well. A little bit less sell pressure, theoretically speaking. But, you know, again, these things are neither here nor there. At the end of the day, price action does come first, and it does trump all. So with that, and without further ado, let's go into the price action charts right here, right now. So we did hit our target yesterday, right below 33,000 bucks based off the shorts video. We also hit our, obviously, the first target yesterday from the morning video at about 31,500-ish region. And now where does this lead it up to? Well, let's put back on our drawing tool to see where we're at right now. I've actually changed around the blue box. I've just risen it up a little bit more as Bitcoin does put in a bit of a base right around about just above 31,000 bucks. We could say 31,250 is the line in the sand right now for BULAs. And technically speaking, should be looking at this as a bit of a healthy consolidation right here. Now, with that said, I do look at this next level, the one that we've been closing at right here at about 32,250 or so, as sort of that next short-term sort of bias buster, meaning that if we do take out to the upside, I would be looking for a run back up to the top side of what would be your declining resistance right here, also synonymous with this horizontal as well. And I wanted to just kind of showcase this really, really quickly here. I absolutely fucking hate diagonal trend lines. I mean, trend lines in general are like, you know, they can be a little bit less, what's it called? Less dependable. But in this case right here, if you do see a diagonal lining up with a horizontal, typically speaking, that is going to be a good thing. And I do believe that this is actually warranted in this case. And that would suggest about just below 33,000 bucks, essentially our rejection that we did get from yesterday night, right at the Bitcoin B word event, right? Anyways, with that said, I do suspect that because the sell-off has not been all that aggressive, actually, coming off that event, Bitcoin BULA still do have a bit of a chance here. But the play yesterday going into the event was pretty much what we spoke about on the morning's video. If there's no major, you know, if there's no major like actual fundamental change, meaning that like Twitter is gonna, you know, buy billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, or Elon Musk decides that Bitcoin is gonna be the preferred currency of Martians when he, you know, colonizes it or something like that, then there's probably not gonna be, you know, it's probably gonna be a sell the event type of thing. And that was your play right there. Pretty damn fast play, but it did happen. I mean, that's typically how it is gonna happen for about $1,000 actually, a little bit, maybe a little bit more than that. Let me just double check. Yeah, a little bit more, about 1,200, 1,300 bucks right there. Very, very, very quick and a classic play, and you can typically take advantage of those throughout your trading career whenever you see one of these like events, because realistically, again, nothing changed there. It's a bit of a hype event, and things go back into sort of just short-term sideways consolidation. I don't really have a major proclivity towards this right now. I can kind of see, or it's not that I kind of see, I'm looking for sideways and looking at this as a bit of a consolidation range. That's it. If Bitcoin breaks the blue box territory to the downside, I'd look for another run at the lows, somewhere right around about 29.5, maybe a little bit lower along this trend line. Although I would suspect that is, you know, even less dependable, of course. And more importantly, if Bitcoin can just hold here sideways a little bit and then take out that 32,200-ish level, I would look for a test back up to basically yesterday's high. And if we can take out yesterday's high right at that event, 32,828.5 actually on BitMexico, and let me just see if that's consistent amongst other exchanges. A little bit higher on Bitstamp to be fair. And what about Coinbase? Same thing as well, right around there. Then I would be looking for this one to pop up all the way just around 34,000 bucks actually. Now, if you did notice, I actually did line this up as a falling wedge. Now, I absolutely fucking hate falling pizzas. I suspect that they are probably one of the worst traded patterns that gets a lot of love, traditionally speaking. But in this case, this is one of the few times where I actually do think that this is one of the ones that actually could be easily identifiable as one. Now, very few times in history since I've made this channel have I ever even charted out a fucking pizza. But in this case right here, I'd say this one does fit the bill, to be fair. Volume signature is there. Shape, size, smell, taste is all in the midst right there. But more importantly, to make this abundantly clear and to kind of explain why a lot of the time I will deduce these sorts of things and not, you know, play a formation like this, which again, I'm just not a big fan of formations in general, is we do see that this is coming in line with trend. Hey, guess what? If Bitcoin takes out this area right here, we have a little bit of a continuation of trend, I believe, on 12-hour, and we will have a confirmed reversal in that case. And very likely Bitcoin does trade back up somewhere around mid $34,000 territory with potential for more. So I would take this one step at a time. And technically speaking, you know, you would have a measure move on this. It would basically be to the top side of where the wedge sort of started in this format right here, and that's 36,000 bucks, which is a natural area for Bitcoin right now, the same area that we've kind of been getting rejected upon ever since, about a month ago in late June, in fact. So I do look at that area as very, 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 very important, and as long as we're below there, it's hard to get any like long-term Bula-ishness. So while I'm not necessarily full-on bearish or full-on bullish from right here, I think that we're more or less boorish, and sideways is still the name of the game. And if we do go over here into the 2-day, I believe we we did confirm. Yes, it looks like we did confirm. If you are a little more aggressive on this, which I do think probably could be warranted in this case, we did confirm about 1, 2, 3, 4 drives of bullish divergence on the 2-day time frame, which actually just closed last night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So what would be needed in order to in order to further fulfill this sort of criteria for another continuation drive, which the next target would be the 21 in this case? Guess where that is? Right in the mid $34,000 territory as well. I'd want to see us take out yesterday's high, essentially the high side of this 2-day dildo, which is the reductive high that we did see, of course, on the B word event, if you will. Anyways, Elsa's having a laugh attack once again, and more importantly, if we do something like that, then yes, that will bring us right around that $35,000 region. And if we do start to actually chew our way through there, then I would start to essentially target the top side of the range, which is, guess where? Right at the 55, right below 40,000 bucks. So we can see a bit of a path forwards right here. But again, one thing before the next, and realistically, I still think that this is more or less a boorish market right now. However, there is one piece of analysis that everyone needs to know right now. This is the only piece of analysis that matters. And guess what? We got a bull moon coming, I think. We actually have a fucking bull moon coming, which funnily enough, man, these moons for the last few months here, for the last half year actually, been pretty damn good. Definitely not perfect. And I suspect the reason why these moons have actually been working is not necessarily because like astrology is real, or maybe it is, I don't fucking know, but more importantly, it's lining up with like major dates a lot of the time. I mean, it is kind of on a schedule, obviously, and a lot of the time we do see, pivots around those. So it kind of does make sense, to be fair. It's just naturally lining up with those in general. Anyways, I think we actually do get a new moon in like a couple days here, but I shudder to say such things because there's people who are like super fucking, what's it called? Yeah, a little bit too serial sometimes on the internet. It'll be like, what the fuck? You talk about moons? Fuck you, man! You're stupid! It's like, okay, calm down. Just finding things to talk about on more or less a slow and sluggish week thus far. Anyways, go check out what else we got going on the other higher term timeframes. I'm curious how the 3-day looks right now, as it is going to be closing, actually not tonight, it's going to be closing tomorrow night, so for Friday. So we don't really have anything to talk about right here just yet. No engulfing, no nothing. It's just a whole Jesus toast right now. However, we do have potential to put in, a little bit of bullish divergence on this time frame as well, if we do close, especially above not this one, but this prior one open, which is 31,500-ish region, which if you were around for the very beginning of this video, then you already know that short-term time frames kind of, relying on that area. And if Bitcoin does take it out to the downside, I would generally be looking for another drive towards our current low, somewhere between about 29 and 29.5, with potential for that $27,000 target to still get hit. By the same token, if we actually do confirm that as bullish divergence, I mean, that'd be 1, 2, 3 drives, and I would be targeting the 21 in that case. And guess where that is? That's right at the median of the range, right about 36,000 bucks. And that can obviously imply targets higher over time after a little bit of a pullback from there. So again, today I imagine is going to be, well, I imagine we're going to resolve the short-term time frame range today, that is. And again, if we do see any sort of a 4-hour dildo closure below 31,250 especially, yes, I would be looking for another run at the lows here. But is there anything that's given us a natural bias right now? So one thing that is giving me a natural bias is, while the 4-hour jewel still does have technically a bullish signal going on, the longer that it kind of stays here while losing, more importantly, the curvature of its slope, the more and more likely this is going to turn into, at the very least, a neutral signal, and then probably a down signal after that. But what we really want to be seeing is volatility rising alongside with it, which we have seen on this current move right here. So if you see volatility coming down while this does turn white, or even or even a blue bear signal, then that would probably just be still consolidation sideways, and I'd still be going off of levels right now. Unless if we do see volatility spruce back up alongside a signal like that, I wouldn't necessarily look at it as like short-term playable. And if we go down to the hourly right here, what does it look like? It looks like Bitcoin's putting in a bit of an ascending triangle on the very short-term timeframes. Now, I'm not a humongous fan of the hourly, and I need to sneeze. Hold on. Wait, it's not coming? Fuck. All right, well, there we go. It's over. I embarrass myself. I embarrass myself every fucking day, man. What's the difference about today? Anyways, hourly is still within an uptrend right here, and is still technically putting in a bit of a higher low. And if we do start to resolve this one with any sort of a closure above 32,200, in this case, I actually do think that we could use an hourly, as it actually has had a pretty damn good history right here. I'd essentially be looking at a run towards yesterday's high. Do we take out yesterday's high or not? Well, that remains to be seen. But if we do, then I would initiate targets higher. So you can kind of see the path forwards in both ways here. As far as my own testnet trading account goes, hey, refresh that shit. There we go. Testnet account right here. under it, but I'm giving up some of my beautiful P&L as my as my near expiration options are going to be more or less worthless, it looks like, unless we pump back above about $34,000 bucks. But that's all premium right now. I did buy back, I believe it was a $35,000 or $36,000 short strike that I had from yesterday, so I did get filled on that. And then I actually transferred a little bit onto my September's over here, shorting another 5 lot of the $17,000 put strike right there. I think I actually got a little bit of this too that I didn't have yesterday. So basically just repositioning my strangles onto September expiration, as I suspect we're very likely to see an actual explosion out of this region from there. Again, the reason why I actually bought the 32-36 strangle is because volatility is relatively low, so technically speaking these options are cheap, and then I sold some far out of the monies against it, basically spreading it out to kind of reduce cost in case I'm wrong in them. And I do feel like regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish on Bitcoin, it's going to be relatively easy to cover the 17, if we do come down to the 20,000 or up to the $64,000 strikes, it's going to be very easy to cover them, probably just with futures contracts. So in that case right there, I'm a little bit more angled towards the downside in this in this current position. But at the end of the day, I'm more than happy with how this position is actually going right now. As you can see, P&L looking pretty damn good, and realistically these $80,000 call strikes are not negative 2 and almost a half Bitcoin. They're probably worthless. I mean, they are worthless right now, but it's it's a long time to go, and these are just very, very wide markets. As you can see, we're $16 at almost 14,000, so not necessarily like a real P&L. Just like earlier this week when it was like showing +8 Bitcoin P&L, it's not real. It's also just not real because it's a fucking testnet account, obviously, but realistically, these are worth 0. So that should come back into the account anyways. All right, cool. So with all of that in mind, do we have anything else to be looking at right here? Yes, we do actually. A little bit more supporting perhaps the short-term Bula-ish case would be this right on over here on a short-term time from momentum oscillators. We see hourly stokes coming all the way down, essentially as long as Bitcoin holds the uptrend right here, which is fine. Again, it is only an hourly, but we are digging deep into the hopium drawers right now because why the fuck not? There's very little else to be looking at right now, and everything's kind of cocked up and ready to move anyway. So perhaps shorter term timeframes can be a little bit more viable here. 4 hour, I believe, is still to the upside and will remain to the upside as long as above 32,100-ish region. So that'd be a little bit of competing narrative with that. But again, price action still trumps all right now, and I need to see actual closures below 31,250 or above 32,250. Probably could use an hourly in this case. To get a little bit of short-term continuation, basically either yesterday's high or actually yesterday's low as well. Kind of an easy trade right there, typically speaking. Anyways, I do want to follow up on the big things that we spoke about both on yesterday's stream and also on the shorts video that I uploaded a little bit later in yesterday night. And that would be the 12-hour right here, of which we do still see momentum will be trending to the upside as long as we're above about 29,750 by this next closure coming in 6.5 hours or so. Yeah, a little bit over 6.5 hours. And of course, the daily did fall through as well, as we did close above about 29.5, I think it was yesterday, and now it will be remaining to the upside as long as above about 29,800-ish region. However, it should be denoted that while we did close the 2-day yesterday in somewhat of a decent posturing, we actually did not see 2-day momentum oscillators turn back up. We need to close above 32,100 would be the magical number, which is not happening tonight. It's going to happen tomorrow night if it does get a chance, and that would shift 2-day momentum oscillators back onto the upside. And I think 3-day is also closing tomorrow night. Yeah, it is, and that one's a little bit higher at 33,169. And then I think the 5-day, oh no, that's going to be Saturday, it looks like. But that one's coming in around 32,000 bucks as well. So we see a lot of things aligning with those areas, and I'm curious where we're at on the Gaussian channel on that 5-day as well. Let's see what we got going on right on over here. Yeah, daily still being governed by. Oh yes, actually, this is something that we could put a little bit of words on too. The bottom side of the daily Gaussian channel is actually coming in pretty much right around yesterday's high. So that does align with a decent enough continuation point, at least in my opinion. And if we do take it out, generally speaking, you probably would be looking for a move towards a median band right here, which is actually significantly higher. Now, it will be coming down with each and every daily closure, obviously. And as you can see right now, it's currently about 37,000 bucks. That'll naturally come in somewhere right around about 35,900 to 36,000 bucks over the next, I would assume, like 2 to 3 days. I mean, depending upon price action, but even just holding steady here, it very likely does bring it down around there. So if Bitcoin essentially can reclaim, or not reclaim, but just take out yesterday's high, I'd be looking for, I would be looking for that falling pizza measure move to very likely play out over the next week or so. Again, this is, this is tradable, to be fair, but still a lot of work needs to be done for the Bulas, and right now Barra still have everything pretty much in their court. I mean, trend is your friend, and to be quite honest with you, I think trend, the more and more experience that I get, the more and more everything just comes down to trend. Like, you can reduce almost everything down to trend. And it's like I can see whatever fucking indicator I'm looking at, and it doesn't even matter, because if I'm always going to come back to, okay, what's a fucking trend? And if it doesn't support the trend, then do I even care? Probably not. I mean, obviously Confluence is good, but at the end of the day, man, it's nothing glamorous, it's nothing too flashy, but there's a reason why people always say the trend is your friend until the end of the trend, and then you can always make a new friend with the new trend, of course. Anyways, let's go over to the 5-day, because this is the one that I really wanted to check out. And what do you know? We actually have not tested the bottom Gaussian channel right here, which still does make me think that we could very easily have a drive lower. Again, if Bitcoin does take out that 31,250-ish level that we spoke about earlier, I do still think that is a relevant thing to be discussing. But as you can see right here, with 2 days left to go, it actually could have a little bit of a signal, to be fair. So I'm not really getting too much off that, but guess what? Guess where the median band comes in around? Basically at that 35.5 level. So a lot of things aligning with that. And if Bitcoin does want to take a leg up, that would be the obvious area, and probably a short-term pullback from there as well. I don't think that this is going to be resolved in just 1 second. And then also, if you want to check out the weekly, it is, somewhat of a good thing that Bitcoin is bouncing off the top, off the top side of it, albeit a bit anemically right now. But we got to pull in all the hopium that we can for everyone right now. And keep in mind, again, everything on higher term timeframes is still, more or less not good. If we go over here to the line chart, I think it's relatively easy to see that, we do have quite literally a fucking downtrend on the weekly right now, which is not the most bullish thing of all time. But you know what? We will still hold it true for all of the Bitcoin believers over there. And let's go check out, what else do we want to check out? I think that we should probably check out traditional markets, or should we check out? No, let's actually go check out CME. Do we see anything different on CME right here? Well, first off, let's maybe go right here to the daily. Let me put it back on dildos, because it's going to be making a little more sense for myself. Yeah, we are nowhere near actually the Gaussian channel on the daily for CME. That is rather interesting. We do see, okay, I'm actually very, very glad that we went over here to CME. We do see that unlike spot price action, we actually did confirm bullish divergence on the daily right here. A couple drives on that, looking okay, at least for some short term. Let's put back on our major moving averages right here. Typically speaking, first target's going to be the 10 simple, second target's going to be the 21, and we pretty much already nailed both of those, it looks like. Do you think that we get another run at the 21 before this is all said and done, to be fair? Anywhere around there is fair game. And I think that the daily jewel, yes, did lose its downside posturing. This is not a long signal. It's just saying that the downside has lots of momentum for now. And that is, I believe, consistent with what we see on spot price action as well. Yes, it is. Actually, spot price action does have a little bit of a long signal right there. I want to see this supported by the auto fib in this case, which it is not right now. We actually haven't even seen that signature since when? Since, Jesus Christ, man, going all the way back to February, March of this year as well. So that's, it's still neither here nor there, but it does provide at least a little bit of sideways, at least a little bit of sideways action right here. Anyways, I want to go back to CME. Is there anything else that we see on CME that is not there on spot price action? Let me get rid of this for right now. I mean, we're going to have some hidden bearish divergence if Bitcoin fails to push through here. That's that is a given on a 4-hour. And that would probably be good enough to get us back down to the lows. So how would you confirm that? Well, you need to confirm this as a local high. And how do you confirm this as a local high? In this case, I'd say anywhere below the 21 on this time frame, even probably an hourly in this case too, is probably going to be good enough. Yeah, hourly, I'd say below about 31 and basically 31,300. So same numbers all the way around, and everything kind of lined up with each other. So making it nice and easy, just boring as fuck in the interim while we wait for resolutions here. But for what it's worth right now, I mean, this does look like a more or less short-term healthy consolidation. I mean, this is coming in on declining volatility alongside essentially maintaining the uptrend in a reaccumulation fashion with that ascending triangle right there. Short-term ascending triangle, I mean, it really doesn't account for too much, but hey, we need to find things to fucking look at right now, or else we're going to be like the rest of people on goddamn crypto Twitter, or just Twitter in general, talking about the TradingView logo. It's like, Jesus Christ, man, who cares what the goddamn logo is? The reason why I actually do care what the logo is on TradingView is because I actually I didn't recognize it at first. Like, what the fuck am I actually on right now? Anyways, what else do we want to check out? Should we check out traditional markets really quickly? We can do that. Let's go over here to NASDAQ, see what we got going on, and actually a really good continuation of bounce yesterday. Let's see, what did we see on the very short-term time frames? I'm actually curious to see what we have right here. Yeah, I'd probably be looking for a little bit of a pullback. However, this is not the signature of a bearish-looking asset, especially on the weekly, I believe, as well. Yeah, the weekly is a very good buyback. I think this one's a little more obvious on SPY futures as well, as you do see it completely bouncing off the 10 simple, basically back around your prior weekly open, which is again, not necessarily bearish, probably does provide a little bit of short-term pullback like we did look at on the very short-term timeframes. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a move back down to about 43.30, 43.25 or so. Same thing with the NASDAQ, I imagine as well. Anywhere down around 780 to 790 is fair game. But ultimately, with tomorrow's weekly closure looming, I'd be looking for new all-time highs. If we close especially anywhere above 14.8, which we're now about $40 above cleanly here. So fair enough. The market that never goes down, man. The market that never goes down, and holy shit, that is just insane, man. That is just insane looking. And we'll just leave it on this while I get into the comments right now, as we are already 35 minutes into this video, and I will probably make this video a little bit on the shorter side today, so we'll probably go for like an hour or so. Let me turn back on the alerts right here. There we go. Lovely. Let's see what else has for me over here. She has not been sending me the super chats. Oh, you have not, though. I don't see them. Yeah, you fucked up. Ha 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 ha. Elsa fucked up, but she'll get them to me right now. Krown drinks some. Hey, what's up, Lee? Holy shit, man. I haven't seen your name here in a very long time. All right, I got him. There we go. ALYI hidden bullish divergence on the daily double bottom. Oh, Scott Carney, man. I don't want to feed you the hopium, man. Again, I do think it's going to bounce off that area if memory serves me correctly. You got your bounce, man. What the fuck? Like, what? Yes, there was bullish divergence right here. It was confirmed on the 20th, not yesterday. You got your easy move on that, man. Like, you got your bounce. Look, man, I feel like we repeat the same thing on this thing every damn day. I feel like it's been more or less right. It's just there's not much interesting things to look at right here. Yes, I think it's going to trade sideways and probably bounce its way through, but it's not happening. Like, this thing is not going to go back up, or I shouldn't say it's not going to. It's extremely unlikely to just green diddle its way up to 7 cents like today or this week, this month. Maybe at soonest, in like end of August, early September, maybe at soonest. And I look at this as, okay right now, as long as it holds its level right here. It is a bullish bias, yes, but give it some time to bake, man. I don't really have anything to give you other than that, man. Is there hidden bullish evidence on the daily? No, there is not hidden bullish evidence on the daily, because it's technically still it's technically a little bit of a downturn right now, as we did make new lows over here, which means that you can never have hidden divergences against the overall trend. But same sort of implication anyways. Yes, bounce, you got your bounce. That's it, man. That was the play. You're late to the playground, sir. King Cosmic says, hi, SPY, please 1 hour daily. Yep, we can go back to that. Let's check out the short-term timeframes right here. I do suspect it's a little bit of a short-term pullback, probably down to the daily 10, which is 43.40 or so. Let's see what the hourly says. Hourly's fine. I do think that it could have a short-term pullback here. Yeah, 43.40 is like an obvious area. Hourly golden crossing coming, so you know that this thing's going back to the moon. But yeah, anywhere between about 43.35 and 43.40ish region. I'd be looking for a higher low around there, and then very likely leads into the weekly closure, and that's probably going to lead to new all-time highs coming in next week. Because why the fuck not, man? Let's just keep on pumping this piece of highly esteemed technology to the upside, which it actually is a piece of highly esteemed technology, to be fair. Anyways, Mike Crook says, hey, Kay, hello, sir. Can you check out C-Pop 1 in 4? How big do you think bounce? C-Pop, okay, let's see. Pop Culture Group, okay, sounds interesting. Can't say I've ever heard of this one. Wow, I don't think that... God damn, this thing looks like a pile of steaming hot garbage. You're looking at a 1 in 4. Okay, that's good, because we can't really get much on a daily for this one. And I think your question is, okay, how big do you think bounce can go? It's been shorted pretty hard since IPO. I mean, look, man, it's below its IPO. It's below its IPO release. Like that, there's nothing bullish about that, man. Very fucking bad. How high do I think it can bounce? Max I think it could do is back up to about 10 and a quarter short term. Hourly and 4 hours just abysmal, man. It's downtrending everywhere that you look, man. This is a piece of fucking garbage. You don't look for bounces on this. You look for, or you do look for bounces to short. But in this case right here, I would not be playing a bounce against the overall trend, especially when it's below its actual IPO release. That is not a fucking bullish signature in any way, shape, or form, man. You are playing with fire, sir. But yeah, if this one did bounce up somewhere around about 10 and a half or so, that's where I'd be looking for perhaps a little bit of a scalp trade. Does it look like it could bounce from right here? Possibly, yes. I'm not really getting any signals at all, and it's a little bit too new for me to put any weight even on my analysis. So I want to be very open and transparent with that. if anything, I think that this thing is probably gonna have like a very short term up, maybe a buck and a half up, and then probably fall back down. There's not really much bullish about this chart right here, man. And there's just not enough history on this thing either to like give it a good analysis. This is just not helpful, man. I'm sorry. I should probably just shut the fuck up about this one. Maybe we could look at momentum oscillators, maybe on like very short term time frames over here. Maybe we might get some of interest. This is a bearish reset. I don't know how high it's going to get on this next bounce. I think max it does is like 10.5 if things get really crazy, 13, but that's hopium, man. That is pure and total hopium. The trend is down, everything's down. This thing is going to the gutter, it looks like to me. Okay, cool. All right, let's see. Lambo Rambo says, great TA, sir. Thanks, man. Thoughts on Baba Daily and weekly? Sure. Alibaba right here. Remember when this thing went IPO too? I didn't trade it, but I did watch it. I remember that. Let's see. And what time frames are we looking at here? Daily and weekly. Okay, so you're going on high term time frames. Let's actually go over to our regular charts over here. I just want to see where we're at. Okay, on daily, where are we? We're still in this consolidation range. I don't know when we last charted this one, but still working pretty damn well. Not bad. Every once in a while, that TA bullshit works. That's fair. That's good enough for me. Short term, I'd be looking for likely a continuation of bounce, but overall, it's just consolidating right here. There's nothing too interesting going on, in my opinion. Short term probably bounces up to like 214 and a half region. I don't really think that you have anything interesting to look at until you get back above what would be your last prior weekly swing high at about 229 and some odd change. If you can get back above there, then I'd be looking for this one to very likely continue its rally back up to the mid 200s or so. But for right now, man, I just think it's going to be ranging along the lows short term, very likely short term next move to the upside, but I wouldn't confuse that with like anything super interesting going on. It sounds like you're more in higher term time frames, and I don't think that's maybe as relevant to you. Hopefully, hopefully I'm interpreting that properly. The Legend Ali Z says, Krown took profits on Monday. Been a good boy. Nice. Fuck nice. Fuck yeah, nice. Paid my taxes to Uncle Sam. Fucking nice as well, man. Prayed to the Lord. Grew out my hair like a bear. But when will the care maker give my red velvet cake on Apple and AMD pullback targets? All right, let's go check it out, man. Go check it out, man. I have the weirdest story to tell you about the IRS. So we paid our company paid our taxes to IRS because we are domiciled in the U.S. and because we didn't fill out a form like perfectly correct, they are gonna send back our money to us. Which is just like, it doesn't even make sense. It's like we I think we just needed like a signature or something like that. And we sent them like a good chunk of change, and they're just like, we're going to send you this money back. You're going to re-sign this, and then you send it again. Like, what is the point of this? This is a fucking waste of time. Anyways, it's like, you can't even send them money and they'll be happy. All right, so pullback on Apple, or should we be looking for a pullback on Apple? I think you kind of got your pullback right there, but it depends what time frames you're on. So let me just go back over here and let me see where you're at. Okay, you didn't give any time frames for this one, but I know you somewhat well, and I'm gonna guess that you're probably on the weekly and monthly if I had to guess. All right, so let's see. I mean, this is a breakout in my opinion. Can it come back down to like 140 or 140 to 135? Perhaps yes, but I think you kind of saw your move right there. Maybe if things get crazy, I'd be looking for 138 or so, but I hold on. Let's see if we can find some of interest right here. Okay, we do have a bit of a rising channel going on, which typically a bearishly resolved pattern. We don't necessarily look at this as a confirmed breakout just yet, given the volume signature. I also imagine volatility is, yes, it is trending down right here. So it's not necessarily a confirmed breakout. I would agree with that. The monthly is bullish, however, so I'd still be what is this likely align with? It likely aligns with a range going on right here. Where's the median of your range coming in from this area right here at about mid 130s or so. So do I think that it'll come back down there? Probably yes, but overall I'd be looking at that as an opportunity. I'm not bearish on this chart. Like, I just want to be very, very clear about that. I mean, there's nothing bearish about this. There's nothing bearish about that as it is right now. Maybe next month trades back down just below 140, and that's where I'd be looking for. Monthly RSI is still more or less good here. Monthly, this is throwing me for a loop right here. BBWP is on the fucking floor in the monthly, so if we actually do see this expand, this thing is going to go for another run. And the reason why I actually really like this, or at least like that level down around the mid 130s, it's very easy to manage risk on something like this if it does go against you. But I do think that the setup is still there, just short term, maybe a little bit of sideways, and probably comes down. I don't know about this month, but probably next month if it is going to happen. Anyways, I think you're also looking at maybe, where's the other one? Where? Okay, AMD. Yeah, AMD's probably a little bit of an easier try to imagine. See what AMD's doing over here. Yeah, same thing, man. This one more, a lot more obviously going in a sideways consolidation. I'd be looking. I think that this one did just play out its pullback. If things do get crazy, I'd be looking at $79. But with the way that major indices are looking like right now, I'm just. I think that was a pullback right there, right on the monthly 10 simple, back up, bought immediately. Hard to hate right now, very hard to hate, depending upon what time frame they're at. But again, I'm looking at very, very high term time frames right now. So maybe on a 4 hour. In that case, I mean, yeah, I do think that you saw your pullback yesterday. In short term, it pops back up north of 90, probably somewhere around 91.5 to $92. Other than that, man, I mean, in this case, the trend is your friend right now, right? Yeah. I mean, looking at the weekly, I think that you already played out that bearish evidence right there. I mean, that was the move down from about $95 all the way to 84 and a half or so. At the very least, it bounces up from here. It still looks long-term good, man. I mean, this is not bearish on a quarterly as well. Not that it's, closing anytime soon, but that does look about as good as a backfill on the quarterly as as you're going to see on this one. I'd still be long-term bullish, and I just don't think it's trending right now. I don't think it's ready to can you fucking not? Elsa's getting way too comfortable. All right, it's over. Thomas K says, okay, you want to look at Bitcoin versus the monetary one supply. Let's go check it out over here. I think that's this chart. Nope, that's monetary 2. Here's monetary 1. Okay, so monetary 1 M1 versus Bitcoin is a lot more interesting to me than M2 actually. The reason why I said this is because first off, Bitcoin did not make a new all-time high against it, and then more importantly, we've actually been basing off the weekly 200 as well, which is kind of just going to be a nice and normal level. It's not necessarily got the best history for it, but let me just double check what M1 is versus M2 because I always get these mixed up. I'm going to Google this one. What does M1 mean? I'm certainly not a macroeconomist myself. Okay. Let's see. M1 definition. Let me just double check on this one. Okay. M1 is the money supply that is composed of physical currency and coin, demand deposits, traveler's checks, other checks, checkable deposits in negotiable order of withdrawable now accounts. Okay. Got it. It's basically the most liquid portions of the money supply. Okay. So that is actually very, very interesting to me. The reason why it's interesting to me is because of this documentary that I watched, I think it was over the weekend, sent to me by Nimbo, one of our community members here. And it was about the kind of like how the central bank essentially manipulated the Japanese yen into some really bizarre and like crazy situations, man. And a couple things really stuck out to me. So there was a point where things really started to get like more and more crazy when essentially the banks started to cut personal lines of credit. And if you've been paying attention to the news, and again, I'm not a macroeconomist, I don't claim to be, and I don't even know that anyone truly is, but there's definitely better people to possibly understand this than myself. But from what I saw in I think this was in the last month or so, Wells Fargo has actually, as of recently, taken away all personal canceled all personal lines of credit, which is usually a pretty big fucking warning signal. So I am a little bit concerned about that, but it's something to look into. Again, I don't want to be Mr. Doom and Gloom. I don't know. I'm not qualified to speak on that, but I do think that is something worth considering, definitely looking into if you are concerned about such things. Anyways, as far as the weekly goes over here, I mean, this is a natural bounce area, regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish. Monthly, definitely not the picture of health and fitness, but short term, yeah, a little bit bouncy as well. So fair enough. Other than that, I don't really see anything that's too different on the lower term timeframes, but the weekly would be in a more bouncy posturing, to be fair. All the timeframes are basically showing the same signatures that we would be expecting on spot price action as well. So kind of the same sort of analysis goes right there. Alrighty, sweet. Nick says, hey, Krown, hope you're having a good day. I did have a good day because I had a good night's sleep, man. And that's all that I need to have a good night, or good day. Good day, good night. I don't even know, man. Anyways, can you check out Ethereum USD on the 1 and 4 hour and daily, please? Sure, let's check it out. It's actually kind of funny, man. We don't usually look at Ethereum as much as we used to anymore. Anyways, 4 hour looks a lot more like a high. looks like a high in the making. It does make me think that Bitcoin at the very least pulls back down. It tests around 31,250 or so short term, which I do think is going to happen. But does it break it or not? That's what matters in this case. Anyways, if we do go, did you say hourly as well? Let me just double check. Yes, you did. Okay. All right. That's going to make it a little bit more relatable, I think, too. Where would the relevant levels for Ethereum be in relation to Bitcoin at that 31,250-ish level? That would be right around here, 1880-ish region. If you want to be super conservative, if you want to be a little more aggressive, you'd be looking just above 1900 or so. And I mean, to be fair, I mean, it's still kind of chugging its way along right now. Still is within an hourly uptrend, of course, but you can see quite easily on the hourly actually exactly where your levels are, right between here and right between here. We can put in a nice little blue box. A blue box of peace and death right there, because both Bulas and Barrows very likely watching that level right there. If you do start to take it out to the upside, I would look for the next move up. That would be in conjunction with Bitcoin, probably somewhere around, I think it was 33.5 for the next target short term. That would be akin to Ethereum, somewhere right around here, right around about 2150 or so. Now, did you say a daily as well? Let me just double check. Where did that comment go? Where did that go? I just missed it. What the fuck? Okay, there it is. Got it. All right. Yes, you did say daily. Okay, let's go check out the daily. Is there any obvious signals here on the daily? Definitely does not look as good on the daily as Bitcoin. I mean, we do have a higher low in place. Yes, that's great. But, or actually, no, we do have a lower low because we do have bullish evidence coming off that. But we've already hit the measure, or sorry, we've already hit the, the easy target on bullish divergence for the daily right there. Where is the 10 symbol coming in? Yeah, about 1910 as well. So I do think that we're going to test 1910, just the same as Bitcoin short term, very likely 31,250 or so. I need to see the reaction right around there. Until then, I don't really have anything helpful that I could possibly say about this. We do see some signatures that could be suggesting that we do get a little bit of continuation here. I do think that higher term timeframes are suggesting a little bit more than downside right now. But at the end of the day, man, if it actually does, this is like one of the few times where I'd be looking at the short term timeframes. If it takes out that area right there, again, that would be about 1900 or so. If you just want to kind of cut it to the middle, which, by the way, we actually are getting a downside signature on the hourly jewel, but that is on declining volatility, so probably not going to be a good one. Then I would be looking at a run towards the lows. But for right now, the trend is your friend, of course, and I run with it. I run with the trend until proven otherwise. And in this case, that would be your 1900 level or so. So give it the benefit of the doubt is kind of what I'm saying right now, or at least that's the way that I look at things. You don't have to if you don't want to, or you don't have to do anything, of course, but same thing for Bitcoin as well. It's like I give the benefit of the doubt to the Bitcoin Bulas in that regard, but I also do think short term it's very likely to test those levels, whether you're bullish or bearish. It's extremely likely to test those levels on both those assets. Anyways, what else do we have over here? Okay, all right. Let's see. Rambo says great. No, I already read that, but thank you. Drew Hill says, hey, what's up, Drew? Hey, Krown, love the vids, man. Can you check out .usd 4 hour and daily? Sure. And thank you, man. .usderp. Okay, this is Polkadot. Yeah, this one used to be pretty damn popular. This one's certainly relatively weak. You can already see the 4 hour jewel is kind of loosened up on its signal. On its signal, it's not a bearish thing in and of itself, but it starts to turn blue. That would definitely be hidden bearish evidence already confirmed right here. Not fucking good. This one didn't even test the prior high, or I mean it did, but quick rejection. But more importantly, it is closing on lower highs, very, very obviously right now. This one would certainly make me think that this market is going to come down. I mean, altcoins, generally speaking, you want to see them kind of follow Bitcoin, but this one does not look like it's going to survive a Bitcoin move back down to about 31,250 or so. I'd probably be looking for this one to come back down to $10.5 or so. This one is certainly relatively weak. Weekly, speaking of, is atrocious looking, but really wouldn't take too much to get a bounce right there. Daily is under pressure already. Let's see what the hourly looks like. Hourly already lost its uptrend. So yeah, man, this is one of the ones where I think it's important to kind of talk about relative strength and relative weakness, because regardless of whether if Bitcoin goes up here, this one's very unlikely to follow as much to the upside, and to the downside, it's gonna outperform Bitcoin to the downside, meaning that it goes down more. Outperform for Barrows right there. So yeah, at the very least 1050. If Bitcoin starts to break down here, it doesn't look like this one's going to hold up all that well. 12 hour, what do we see? Is there anything of particular interest right here? 12 hour looks a lot more like a lower high to me as well. Hidden bearish evidence right there too. Do we see the same potential on Bitcoin? Let's see how far back does this go right here to this high right here, 14th of June. That would be all the way over here. So yes, it is on a lower high, of course, as well. Not really giving us too much though, but you can definitely see the varying levels and the varying degrees of strength in this one. Dot would not be one of the strong ones. So if you are looking for upside trades, I think that there's probably a lot better options than that. But of course, this is not a financial advisor. I'm the furthest thing from it, of course. Anyways, moving on, we got Casey Walsh. What's up, man? Howdy, Krown. Potential upside targets for the 3-3 ohms. Okay. Oh, this is the OHM thing. Okay, OHM DAI. Yes, this thingy right here. So we got, and what time frames again? You gave no time frames. It's like, all right, well, on a minute, on a 30 minute, I don't know. There is no upside target right now. It's probably coming down short term. Actually, hourly is okay. Daily is pretty good as well. It depends what time frame you're looking at, man. Look, I can't. This is why you really need to fucking include time frames, man. Otherwise, it's just unrelatable. I also don't know, like, you're trying to fucking hold this thing for forever, or you're just trying to scalp this thing out on the same day or same hour, whatever it might be. You have a natural weekly level right around 690 or so, but I'm not saying that's going to go up there. I mean, this is actually one of the more healthy altcoins looking. This is actually certainly one of the more healthy altcoins that we've seen today. This would be relatively strong, in fact. To compare this one, to juxtapose this against what we saw with DOT USD, that one was certainly relatively weak. I mean, it's barely holding on to that lower high, whereas this one is actually within the confines of a nice uptrend. And while we don't necessarily have a breakout just yet, I would be looking at this level as the next sort of major one, meaning that if we do take out either the last 4-hour high or just close above this area right here, probably even on a buy early, we'll do it. Yeah, a buy early would do it for me. That would be 630. Then I would be looking for continuation up to that, about $695 to $700 target. Actually, would look pretty damn good right there. This one's certainly one of the better charts that we've seen today, especially in cryptocurrency land. Daily RSI is still more or less fine. What about the weekly? And yeah, not enough history to really be going off, over that one. But I mean, other than that, I don't really know. I don't really know what to say to you, because it's just things are difficult enough without, like, with full information. Without full information, it's like, man, that is a complete gamble. But if this one does want to range a little bit more and come back down, I'd be looking for a move down to about 525 or so. But for right now, like, kind of hang high here. And this one seems to be a little bit less correlated, probably one of the least correlated altcoins to Bitcoin that we've seen at least today. Where would I get bearish on this one? Yeah, below the 20th of July low, I'd actually get quite bearish on this one, looking for a move back down to 320. But it doesn't look like it plays with Bitcoin all that well, so that would be one of the few ones that probably does do its own thing during this whole thing. Crypto Chrissy, what's up? How are you doing, Mrs. Chrissy or Mrs. Chrissy? Who knows? Hey, Krown, love your TA, and I'm learning it in your. Hey, that's awesome. Glad to hear. Fuck yeah. Okay, so can you please check out QNT USDT? Okay, so this one was another one of the strong altcoins. I believe not so long ago. Let's see if it is still fitting the bill for that. Quant USD right there. We'll go to, I think KuCoin actually has the most history. Yeah, and still this one. Okay, again, another chart of an altcoin that is playing as relatively strong. This is really, really important stuff to be looking at. So this one obviously already in an uptrend, but we do have multiple drives of hidden bullish evidence over here. Got the easy move already. I do think that this one will extend very likely up to about 80 and a half or so, probably over the next few days here. It's looking decent enough. Do I already have this one charted? No, I do not. So just around this high structure right here looks completely fine. I mean, this is a bullish reset right here. Daily Jewel, same thing. And you can just use this last prior low as a as a breakdown point. I don't think it's happening right now, but do have to be aware of those things. Obviously, weekly looks a little more under pressure, to be fair, but let's go down to the shorter term timeframes. And what do you know? You have this clean fake out right here. These fake outs are honestly even more powerful than like an actual death cross or golden cross. When you see price action so far away from the cross itself, and then at the last second before they're actually going to get the death cross, in this case, it pumps back up and closes above. You can, I wouldn't say always, but almost always, at least get a nice little scalp trending move to the next relevant region. In this case, that would be right around here at about 77 and a half. You kind of already hit that, but I do think this one will continue onwards and forwards. 4-hour RSI still telling the story after a little bit of sideways here. And I'd be using this little higher low at about 67.7 or so as as a breakdown point. If you do take that level out, I'd be looking for a retest of the lows, probably another bounce there, and then continue onwards and forwards to the downside. But this is another one of the better altcoin charts. I don't think that's happening. I think this one tests the upside here. It's looking decent, I think, again, all things considered. Sam Fregnazzi says, floor story please, funny or educational. What would be a good educational one? how about all the fucking times how about all the times I got yelled at for looking at fucking order books? The first day, my first day of like actually, the first day that I actually got my certification as market maker authorized trader, a Series 56 is what you need for that, which was actually, by the way, I had a fucking, what's it called? Gallstone, what is it? A kidney stone. Yeah, that's right. I had a kidney stone. Was it a kidney stone? Is that what it's called? Is it a kidney stone? Like where you piss out a fucking rock? I had that when I took the test, man. It was like excruciating pain. I had no idea what the fuck it was. Terrible, man. I went to the hospital like later that night. Anyways, the first day that I was actually like technically certified, working for my mentor, then basically I looked at the order book for a stock I was trading. Forget what it was. I think it was MDVN, Medivation. Let me see if this thing even still trades. Is this it? What the fuck? Is it MVDN? Is it? No. Yeah, fuck it. Well, whatever. It was. I believe it was called Medivation. It might not trade anymore. Or maybe it was FireEye, symbol FEYE, which that one definitely trades. Anyways, I looked at the order book and I thought I was being like super smart and everything, right? And I noticed that there is like 10 million on the buy side at market. Current BBO. And I tapped my mentor and I'm like, oh my god, you have to look at this right now. There's 10 million being bid right now. We got like something's going on. He's like, if you ever look at the fucking order book again, you will not be standing down here ever again. This will be your last day. I'm like, okay, lesson learned, sir. I won't talk about fucking order books anymore. Jesus Christ, man. That one scared the shit out of me. James Naylin says, hey Krown, appreciate all you do here. Hey man, my pleasure, sir. Just sharing experience for better or worse. Hey, all good, man. Looking for general direction and outlook on Bitcoin, Ethereum on the 4-hour, daily, and weekly time frames. Okay. Looking for general outlook. Do you mean like the Ethereum Bitcoin pairing? I mean, because we've already looked at both of those. So Bitcoin, I mean, both of them are pretty much the same, right? If you're looking at the short-term time frames right here, short-term, a little bit of consolidation. I think Bitcoin's the obvious one to watch right now, not Ethereum. If you do take out 31,250 to the downside, even on like an hourly closure, I'd feel quite confident saying that the rest of the market's going to come back down and test around your lows from a couple days ago. You're going to give up the B word pump, which, is pretty damn classic stuff, to be fair, on an event that really didn't do anything anyways. By the same token, if we take out the high of yesterday's pump, I would look for extension on Bitcoin specifically, somewhere around our last daily high right here, which would be about 34,500 or so, which could obviously have potential for more. Other than that, I really wouldn't put too much faith in indicators right now, mostly because I don't trust them in events like this. And, realistically, we're just kind of trading sideways in a consolidation, but some pretty easy trades on both sides, granted those two things. Or if you want to be a little bit more, a little bit more forthright with it, you could just use an hourly, I wouldn't use an hourly close in this case. I'd probably use a 4-hour closure. Maybe a 2-hour if I want to be super aggressive above about 32,300ish region to judge the upside, the next upside move. And to be fair, lower term timeframes are showing a nice healthy consolidation right here. I still think that price action kind of trumps all right now, and I'd probably be a little bit more on the conservative side. Again, I'm not trading any spot price action. I'm only trading options right now, and these are my positions right here for my testnet account. It's not real anyways. So yeah, man, I'd just be looking at Bitcoin, man. It's going to be the easiest one to watch, and whichever way that one chooses, the rest of the market's going to more or less go with it, except for the one-offs that we saw, that you typically see here or there, of which we saw actually a couple already on stream, Quant, and I think there was one other one. What was it? OHM? I think Crypto... Crypto Chrissy and Casey Welsh were both asking about them, and those ones were decent. Okay, cool. What's your question, sir? Which one's more painful, kidney stones or hemorrhoids? Probably kidney stones. I mean, it goes away faster though. I mean, like you just kind of piss it out, and it's like people say that it's similar to like giving birth it's like a men giving birth. It's like similar to that. So I don't know. You've never given birth, so you probably don't know what that feels like either. But for the women out there, they could probably confirm if we have any birthing people there, because we can't just assume that all women give birth anymore. Evo Quandre says, crypto's very own Ben Shapiro. Did I miss? Oh, Jesus Christ. Please, for the love of God, I hope that I never get compared to Ben Shapiro ever in my life. Did I miss Cardano? Yes, you did, because no one's asked about it, and probably Probably for good reason. No, it is still one of the more better looking altcoins, but let's see, how's it holding up in the short-term timeframes right here? Yeah, certainly short-term weaker. Certainly short-term relatively weaker than what we've seen across a lot of the general altcoin here. I mean, a lot of the strong ones are kind of consolidating around their prior breakdown high. In this case, that would be about 121. In this case, you can see a clear rejection there. However, and again, easier to watch Bitcoin, but if you do see even an hourly closure, let's call it below about 113.25, I'd be looking for this one to retest lows, probably even make another drive somewhere right around about $1 or so. Weekly looks like, I mean, we have another rising wick here now, don't we? Or do we? Hold on, let's double check. 98.9 versus 1007. Yeah. But what? You did not give any time frames. For the love of God, give a fucking time frame. Short term, it's a nice little consolidation. I imagine whichever way Bitcoin chooses, this one's gonna follow, right? It's just not gonna follow as much to the upside and to the downside. This one probably at the very least tests prior lows, and I'd assume probably even makes new lows on top of that. But for right now, I mean, it's still somewhat of a healthy consolidation right here. Momentum oscillators are more or less in a bullish reset for what it's worth, but this one is relatively weak on the short-term timeframes, no doubt about that. Daily, still very much under pressure. I mean, all higher-term timeframe trends are to the downside right now, which is not necessarily bullish. You do have an easy trade here too, kind of similar to Bitcoin, back above the last 2-day high. I would extend targets all the way up, medium term to about 133 with potential for more. Again, easier to watch Bitcoin and just kind of know your levels that kind of correlate for this asset right here. Okay, cool. Super Googly says, hello, sir. Hello, sir. How you doing? I'm very disappointed the B word thing didn't turn into an F word bet among the three. Can you look at KSM BTC daily, please? Sure, man. Yeah, let's go check it out. KSM, this is Kusama versus Bitcoin. So this is going to be a little bit different just because it's not trading versus US dollar. So it depends which one is stronger versus the other. And what are we looking at right here? You see a very obvious level right around about 4,800 or so. But what were you exactly asking about? You're asking about a daily. I think the 2-day is actually a little more obvious in this case. Daily, we do have bullish divergence come off that last low. Yes, we did hit the easy move off that one. The next target would be about just under 6,000 or whatever that number is. Not 595 or so. I'm a lot less confident on the altcoin Bitcoin pairings just because you got a lot more moving parts in these ones, but nothing on the weekly to be aware of. What about a 5-day? Same thing. I mean, it looks pretty ugly on 3-day, 5-day, and weekly to be fair, but I don't know if I'd necessarily just call a general continuation based off that. Let's go to a 4-hour just to see. Yeah, definitely relatively weak right here as well. Nowhere near its prior breakdown level, which was basically not 5.8 or so. This one definitely looking relatively weak. So we already see the 4-hour jewel kind of loosening up on its signal. This one looks like it wants to break down here, man. Did we already play out the hidden bearish divergence right there? I'd say you played out the easy portion of it, yes, but I need sort of a further breakdown, man. And this one's coming right back down to the lows. And if it does take out just like on the 2-day, which I think is rather obvious right here, if it does come back down and take out the last 2-day low, I'd probably look for a trending move to the downside to occur to the next relevant region, which is that's going to start to get way low there. But for what it's worth, I think it trades a little bit of sideways here and then probably tries some upside again based off whatever Bitcoin does. And Bitcoin's doing a decent job of holding the line right now. Hourly popping back up there. Hey, that actually looks okay. So it's all up to Bitcoin, in my opinion, to kind of put the rest of the market in its backpack and lift it up for now. And short term, it looks like it still looks like a nice healthy consolidation. So I would give it the benefit of the doubt right now. Burnt creme, but again, if Bitcoin breaks down, that thing is going to break down very likely more. It is a little bit weaker. Burnt creme says link on daily and weekly, please. Microsoft on weekly if you don't mind. I would actually like to look at Microsoft to be fair. Link, I imagine, just looks like a hot steaming pile of garbage right now. No. Hey, funnily enough, Link is actually acting like one of the more relatively, I would say, neutral ones on the short-term timeframes. What about a daily right here? Yeah, definitely weak right here. Should have another drive of bullish divergence on the 2-day. Yeah, if we do take out the last 2-day high, I would initiate a very quick target to about $17 or so. Yeah, just around $17 with very likely continuation over time towards $19. Short term, where is your level to the downside? You could actually use a spike low very likely as a continuation point, but if you want to be conservative, it would be this area right here, 14.5 or so. Below there, I'd be looking for a retest of lows and probably new lows on top of that. But Link actually holding up in the short term timeframes, not in the high term timeframes, but in the short term timeframes relatively well compared to a lot of the other shitcoins that we've looked at today. Yeah, 4 hours, okay. You could probably just use that last low as a continuation point. So as long as you're above there, probably does push its way through. Short-term target would be like 16.5 to 17 bucks. Potential for more depending upon how the 2-day closes. Okay, Microsoft. We could look at Microsoft really, really quickly. I would prefer to just do one. And how deep into this video? We're about an hour into this, so I'll be on for maybe like another 20-30 minutes. Let's see. Where is my? I know I have Microsoft. That's MicroStrategy. Where's my Microsoft? Did I remove it? No, I would never remove Microsoft. I know that I wouldn't, but maybe I just need to type it in anyways just to move it on. Yeah, let's just do it. MSFT. Softy, sir, on NASDAQ. Oh, what do you know? Still bullish. It's like you don't even need to fucking look at it, man. Weekly's bullish as fuck, man. Any sort of a closure here higher, any sort of a closure above 280, I'd be looking for new optimize coming in next week. This thing is just melting. It's the market that never goes down, man. It never goes fucking down. Look, at some point this will reverse, of course, but these parabolic rallies, they always go for more than what you think is even possible, and I suspect that this one's no different right now. Is there even any breakdown in the short-term timeframes? Below 275, that's your risk right now, I suppose. Wow, powerful, very, very powerful. Okay, Robert DeRue says, woof. Hello, sir. Do you think the local top is in for doggy? Woof. I'm short from 21 cents after Elon pumped it yesterday. Woof. You know, what's interesting about doggy is that I think no matter what Bitcoin does, this one is just going to barely participate on the upside, and on the downside, it's going to outperform for the barrows. Okay, so the question is the short-term top in for doggy? Is that right? Is a local top in for doggy? It depends what time frame you're looking at. I mean, if you're looking at a 4 hour, then obviously, yes, I mean, that was your local high right there. But to be fair, it actually did take out these few highs right here. This one is not that obvious, though. I would fucking hate to trade. I would absolutely hate to trade this thing, man. I would absolutely hate to trade. It depends what time frame you're looking at, obviously. But you could. I wouldn't necessarily be looking for a breakdown unless if Bitcoin actually breaks down. In this case, you could probably be a little more aggressive than Bitcoin and use 18.5 cents as a bit of a continuation point for a retest of the lows and probably another trending move to the downside. Monthly still looks like absolute shit. So it really depends what time frame you're looking at, man. But hey, man, if Bitcoin pops back up, this thing's going to pop back up towards 20.5 cents. And I think that's actually around your entry, it sounds like. No, it's a little bit below your entry still, but I'd be careful, man. I would be careful because if Bitcoin does take a leg up here, this one's going to follow as well. It's actually not as bad looking as a lot of the other ones. Did even close the daily above the last little breakdown point right here, which is typically a decent sign. I wouldn't say that it's actually relatively weak in this case, to be honest with you. as much as I want to shit on doggy coin, but yes, if we do take out, what was the level again? Was it right here? Could be. Hey, stop that. There we go. We should actually move this down a little bit. It's not as weak as what I first considered. I'd say 18 spot 113. If it takes that area to the downside, I'd look for another retest of lows and probably new lows after that. But until Bitcoin does it, I wouldn't. I would not front run that. I might even consider taking profits on that too. Let's see, what does the weekly look like here? That still looks like shit, but it's kind of bouncy. Same thing with the 5-day too. I don't really have strong opinions on the higher term time from this one. Long term, it's obviously very, very bad, but if Bitcoin gets going here, this thing can actually pop up rather aggressively. It looks like. I mean, a lot of these are resets right now, so it really wouldn't take too much to get a bouncy bounce on this one. I'm actually curious to see what it looks like on our momentum charts over here too. Come on, show it to me, sir. There we go. On Binance, let's see what we got right here. 4 hour coming down. Let's see if the hourly's had a bit of a reset. It has, yes. What about the daily? Yeah, daily's turning up just like Bitcoin. 2 days, same thing. I'm inclined to say that this market probably does take a little bit of a short-term sideways and then resolve it to the upside. At least that's what it's looking like right now. But areas are very well documented. If I had to put my money on it, though, I would favor short-term upside. At least another retest of this area right here. So fair enough. Okay, cool. Aaron Depp says, do you talk faster than your thoughts or think faster than your words? I definitely think faster than my words, man. That's why I get tongue-tied sometimes and I can't fucking make the shit flow out of my mouth anymore. Can you please take a look at Harmony 1? I loved the low fives. Okay, let's check it out. One, symbol ONEUSD. There we go. On Binance, and you're looking at a what again? You're not looking at any time frame. All right, god damn it. Let's go to a daily then. You love the low fives. You mean 5 cents? Is that what you mean? I'm guessing that's what you mean, because this one's never traded above $5. So fair enough. Yeah, in this case, again, same sort of thing right here. I mean, this one very likely does pop back up. This one's a little bit more on the relatively strong side, I would say, for altcoins in general. You got a very clear and obvious, uptrend here on the hourly. I mean, it is just an hourly for what it's worth, but I'm assuming you're focused on lower term time frames right now, because you're talking about a 5-cent tick, which it sounds like you bought somewhere down around here. It's a pretty easy trade to be managing. I'd say, as long as you're above the low side of this current consolidation, I would actually I'd probably actually still hold this myself, but this is not finished spots. I'm not a financial advisor. Next target to the upside would be somewhere right below 7 cents, about 6.8 right here, somewhere right around there, with potential for more. I mean, based off the daily, it's very similar to Bitcoin. It really wouldn't take too much to get a bit of a rally going on right here, regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish. And that's kind of what I'd be defensive right now against, that's what I'd be defensive against right now. If I wanted to be, if I was holding a short or wanted to be bearish, like whether you're bullish or bearish, this thing is a little bit more like, at the very least, likely to trade sideways and probably does pop up to the next relevant level, is what it's looking like to me. And that one does look like one of the more somewhat short-term healthier ones, all things considered. Rocky G, hey, what's up? Hey fam, how you doing, man? How did you make the mental switch to becoming a full-time trader? Oh, this is a great question. Okay, they say trading should be boring. Are you passionate about your job? Well, the thing is that I didn't really have like a job before I became a full-time trader. I was basically just like an intern, an unpaid intern for my mentor. And then I actually became like his clerk, basically. So the transition was pretty seamless, right? It's like it's like, okay, well, now we're just doing this in a paid fashion. I mean, that was basically it. I didn't have a different job after college, for example. My only other prior job was as being a what's called a personal trainer, actually, in college for a couple of my friends. They say trading should be boring. Are you passionate about your job? Okay, so this is a good job. This is a good question. I'm going to record this one. Okay, so the question from Mr. Rocky G is, hey fam, hello fam, how do you make the mental switch to becoming a full-time trader? I've actually been meaning to record a video on this one, and perhaps I'll do a more detailed and streamlined version of what I think like a good roadmap to becoming a trader would look like. And perhaps we can talk about that right here too. You go on to say, they say trading should be, should be boring. I say that. Are you passionate about your job? Okay, so to answer your first question, how do you make the mental switch to becoming a full-time trader? Well, first things first, you just make the fucking switch. You decide what you're going to do, and then you follow the path. That's quite literally as simple as it needs to be. And I really like to get away from like more theory talk than that, because it just becomes mental masturbation in my opinion. How do you explain to someone how to drop something that's in your hand? I'm holding like I guess this is part of my watch that broke off. Yeah, it's like the little wristband of my watch. It's like, how would you explain to someone, how do you drop this in your hand? You can say, okay, so first you focus on relaxing your muscles, then you decide to slowly release, and then you do this and that and the other thing. And it's like, at some point there is a divide between thinking and action, right? And the divide between thinking and action is there are no words for it. You just do it, and that is what you eventually just do as a full-time trader. But I suspect that your question might just be worded in a slightly different way than what my autistic brain is probably interpreting it as. And your real question is probably, what do you want to do in order to become a full-time trader, essentially? Well, like I said, I am going to record more or less a streamlined video on like what I think a good path for that would be. But the sort of short and narrow of it would be, first and foremost, you spend a lot of time in the learning phase. And in the learning phase, that means that you are testing out strategies, you're back testing strategies, not on a real account, preferably on a demo account, or like an extremely low dollar amount on an account, like maybe $1. You just put in a fucking dollar and you trade that. Because look, if you can't make money with $1, you can't make money with $1 million. Like that it's that fucking simple. I mean, you could come up with some comebacks where that's not true, but generally speaking, look, if you can't make it work with a small amount, you probably can't make it work with a big amount. And it's not very wise to be putting any real money at risk when you don't have any proven strategy. Because at the end of the day, when you make the switch to becoming a full-time trader, or professional trader, perhaps is maybe a better way of putting it, all you're doing then is you're just playing basically an algorithm out in your brain as to what your strategy is based off of, the historical results of it. So what does that mean? It means that you go and back test whatever piece of strategy you're going to be using, whatever piece of edge you're going to be, using as your main driver. And then you come up with some sort of statistics that support what your strategy is. Is it working or not? And is that relevant to you or not? Like, is that as good as you need it to be in order to be a full-time trader? And so that can take some time. For myself, I was trading a demo account for 4 months before I ever touched a real account. And when I touched a real account, I started off very, very slow too. I mean, I started off with 1 lot. So I was an options trader. I was an options market maker authorized trader. And I started off with 1 lot. So you want to progressively desensitize yourself in a very, very minimal way so that you barely even notice that the money or your size is going up. You want to be like a frog in hot boiling water in the sense that you don't even realize that you're starting to actually do it. Like that's realistically where that whole switch up comes from, is you're just doing it, man. And I know that that's not too helpful, but that is what it all comes down to. We can talk about all the sort of mindset theories and whatnot, but at the end of the day, that is definitely helpful, and I've definitely got a lot of value from that myself. But mental masturbation is not going to make the switch to the action. At some point, you have to actually do the action, and that's where you do become professional or full-time trader, however you want to say it. Anyways, they say trading should be boring. Are you passionate about your job? So am I passionate about my job? Yes, but trading is boring because you more or less know about what the results are going to be, right? If you're playing out a strategy that has like a 66% win rate, do you get excited about your wins or losses? Well, I mean, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but at some point over some amount of time, you're going to come into the realization that it's like, okay, why would I get excited about this win if I know that it's just a matter of time before I'm going to get a loss? And over a long enough period of time, I pretty much know what my results are going to be. Like, excitement comes from novelty, in my opinion. And in trading, there is novelty with like outlier situations. Obviously, I mean, it's just, it's there, there's always going to be the potential. There's always going to be a non-zero probability of a black swan event coming around. And so that will cause you to think, that'll cause a little bit of excitement. But ideally, the reason why I say, or realistically, the reason why I say that trading should be boring is because it means that you understand that it's just a statistical game. That's all that it is. Nothing more, nothing less. And if you're feeling emotions about your trades, it can come in multiple different ways, but it'd be similar to like gambling, right? You feel people like going to Vegas and gambling because they get excited because they don't know what's going to happen, right? That's why people love the fucking lotto. That's why people love, I have to tell you this, man, because in Finland, like everywhere in all the fucking grocery stores and shit like that, there are like gambling machines, like quite literally gambling machines. Like you fucking play a gambling game. It's insane, man. You go and check out, you go through the aisle to check out, and then right after that, there's like multiple gambling machines in every fucking store, even in like what would be similar to a 7-Eleven if you're familiar with America. And it's like everyone fucking plays them, man. You see like grandmas on these things, and they like it because they're getting excitement from it because they don't know what's going to happen because they have a relatively boring life. Perhaps maybe I'm making an assumption right here. Anyways, my point is to bring this back full circle is like, you don't want to get your fucking excitement in that way from trading, because that just shows that you haven't really worked out your plan. At first, you're probably going to feel that way. Once you start to see your results and everything, that is exciting. To see yourself get better at something is certainly exciting, no doubt about that. And that is where the motivation comes from. So if I were to make a relationship between it, it's like, you can't be motivated by, or it's like, I don't think that you can be motivated or excited or stimulated by or passionate about just looking at a statistical like setup play out. But what you can become very passionate about is getting better at tightening that up over time. So that's what I'm passionate about. That's where I get a lot of excitement from, is like, oh shit, I have a new tool here. Maybe I can increase my win rate by 1%, because I know and I understand, and perhaps you understand as well, that over a 10, 20, 30 year time period, that adds up to insane amounts. Just fucking insane amounts of numbers. But the problem is that you need to separate that sort of thinking from the lotto type of thinking, where it's like, I don't know what's going to happen. I hope that a good thing happens. And here we go. Fucking put it all on red. Like that kind of bullshit. Like these are not the same sort of thing. So passion comes from setting a goal and achieving it, not from like, oh, I'm punting along right here. Let's just go to the fucking moon or else I'm wrecked. Like that's not where you want to be. And that is a sign of not a trader. That's a sign of a gambler. So that's a distinction that I want to make here. And basically, the only mental switch that you really make is that you're going to take it seriously. You're going to go through all the rigmarole of figuring out your strategy, and you'll do whatever it takes in order to get there. And that's where I think anyone has technically the potential to do it. Just most people aren't really like disciplined, and it's not that most people aren't disciplined. I think discipline is a little bit of a it's almost like a bad word in our society in some cases. We're not really taught discipline any longer. So if you're not going to be disciplined, then obviously it's going to it's going to directly contradict with making that mental switch, which hopefully answered your question. Maybe I just went on a few tangents there. If so, I apologize. You can obviously comment again, and I can maybe come back at that at a different angle, but hopefully that was in some way helpful. Nice. All right. Let's see. We got the Dominicans back. There they are. What's up, Kendrick? ARB. Hey, you know what I heard about ARB? Is this Argo? No, this is not Argo. This is something completely different. It is Argo. Hey, it is Argo blockchain. I heard that they're going to go IPO on US markets. And what do you know? Massive girthy green dildo right there. Pretty nice. This one very likely extends here, man. This is good. This is good, and probably does bode well for Bitcoin as well, if I had to guess. Short term, I'd be looking for continuation about 119, 120ish region, and I do think that it will take a leg up after there, after a little bit of a short term pullback, probably up to 133, 135 region. This looks like a clear and obvious bear trap down around here, popping back above this region. Even just retesting this region is a good signature. Weekly. Well, weekly's not as strong, to be fair. Maybe the upside's a little more limited than what I did think, but short term, yes, I would be looking for continuation here. Short term, 120 to 125, and then very likely does take a leg up into the mid 130s or so. Looks decent, but long term, it's just sideways price action. I'd still give it the benefit of the doubt, but I don't think you're going to see anything like super interesting happen here anytime soon. I mean, long term, it's just sideways consolidation. In fact, we should really check out Coinbase today. I haven't done that just yet. Where's my coin derp? There it is, 230. Yeah, very interesting. I mean, you can see that we have a little bit of a low structure in here. Obviously, rejection at the 21 is not going to be the best signature either, but it's more or less the same thing. It's sideways here, and you can look at the resolution of this range. It's very likely the next mega trending move for this asset alongside Bitcoin as well. This would be like akin to your $29,000 level. This would be akin to like your $39,000, $40,000 level right there. Okay, cool. Super Hex says, thoughts on Pulse Chain raising $26 million for sense.org charity. That's Aubrey de Grey's. I believe that's Aubrey de Grey's charity. Is that right? Am I correct in that one? In just a couple days, and over 500 million sacrificed in the first 6 days with 12 days ago. Look, man, if like, okay, I totally understand that a lot of people really dislike Richard Hart, but I don't see how you can hate on raising 26 million, which is like not fucking chump change for an organization that's basically like looking for ways to prolong human life in what seems to be a relatable way. Now, I'm obviously not like a researcher myself, so I can't judge that accurately, but from what I understand, like he's pretty well respected. I think. I don't know. Maybe he's just fucking crazy. But yeah, man. What do I think about that? That's great, man. Fucking nice. They're doing good things with their money, and regardless of whether you're love or hate Richard Hart, I mean that's I think a good thing. Anyways, your next question is, what do you think about 500 million sacrificed in the first 6 days with 12 days? That's fucking insane. Is this going to be the biggest IPO, whatever the fuck? Ever. I mean, that's insane, man. That theoretically would probably limit the upside, though. I mean, the higher market cap that this one kind of opens with, the less and less potential it'll probably have. I mean, think about it. Like, what did Binance Smart Chain market cap get to during like the height of the bull run, euphoric, just absolute monstrosity rally? I think it got up to like, I don't know, somewhere around 30 billion. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just going off of memory right here. Maybe it's completely wrong, but 30 billion. I mean, what? So Pulse Chain probably gets definitely above $1 billion. It looks like. I mean, that's a lot of money, man. People are. So hold on. If I understand this properly. There is an accumulative of 500 million, half a billion basically. Half a billion has been sacrificed, meaning that people just gave it up. Like they literally just gave it up because I guess they either trust Richard Hart a lot or they sincerely believe that this is going to make them even richer. Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know what to say about that, man. I'm not. I've never invested in an IPO, whatever the hell. So I'm a fish out of water there. It does sound like an impressive number, though. I will say. Oh shit, Kendra DeCamps actually even spoke about the about the US listing. How are IPOs priced for something already traded on London Stock Exchange? There'll be like a reference price for it, based off of some of the fundamentals. That's not necessarily my game, but I'd imagine they're going to be somewhat similar priced. Barry Delev, hey, what's up, man? Hey, appreciate that, man. Love you, Krown and Elsa. Please humor me with a weekly and hourly on ERSDL. Okay, ERSDL, what is this? Oh, this is a crypto. All right. Unfederal Reserve token. Oh my God. What the fuck is this good thing going to be? You're looking at a weekly and hourly. Okay, that's quite the differential in timeframes there. Weekly, not enough history. I mean, it's just straight down, for what it's worth. It's not helpful. Daily, I think it's a little more relatable. We got a bit of a downtrend going on right here. Short-term range between our current lows at about just under 11 cents or so, and our last rejective highs right here just below 14 cents. But I suspect the hourly is going to be the only one that actually has something of interest going on. Yeah, similar to a lot of the other shitcoins we've seen today. This one actually not looking as bad, but I don't necessarily think I'd ever say that this looks good either. It's just it's just looks like a shitcoin, man. It looks like a shitcoin. Similar to Bitcoin above 31,250. I would be somewhat giving it the benefit of the doubt as long as this one's above about 11 and a half cents or so. Generally looking for another retest of the highs anywhere above this last high structure right here, even just above this prior high, which is 1378. Let's just call it 1380. I'd look for an actual nice move back up somewhere just south of 15 cents or so. I don't really have a strong opinion on this though, man. It is just a general downtrend and kind of ugly looking, but give it the benefit of the doubt for right now. I'm probably going to do whatever Bitcoin does is the general answer for most altcoins. This one, I would imagine, is going to be more or less the same. And what do you know? Bitcoin just trading sideways, still holding the higher lows. So fair enough. My rule is give it the benefit of the doubt. Would I trade this one myself? Not in this current posturing, no. The trade to make was selling the wick yesterday right here. That was an easy trade. Anyways, okay, cool. What else do we have? The 4-hour trader. Oh, nice. I suspect I know exactly what time frame you're going to ask about. Oh, you're not even asking about a time frame. Krown, if I backtest a strat over a year that's profitable, how do I know if it'll work in current market conditions, i.e. bull run versus bear? Well, I mean, you kind of just answered your question right there in and of itself. So you should test prior market conditions. We've seen some bear markets in Bitcoin land. So first things first, decide what time frame you're going to be using. I imagine you're probably going to be using a 4-hour because that's what your name implies. You don't necessarily need to see like a 4-hour well, yeah, you can just go back to 2018, man, 2019, go see what a 4-hour strategy did there for whatever edge you're testing. Maybe go back to 2014, 2015 as well, see how it does in those, in during those times, and then go back to your more recent strategies, what sounds like is more within the past year of mostly a straight up bull market, right? And compare them. Are they different? First off, if they are not different, then hey, all good. Of course, also understand, during a Black Swan event, during a 10 Sigma event, which will happen again. I mean, over a long enough period of time, well, your strategy is probably going to be a little bit messed up there. Perhaps maybe go back and check out what happened in March 2020. That would be an interesting thing to do. But all the information is there, so you should naturally be able to come up with some understanding of the of the statistics. And I'd imagine, and what I'd be very interested to know would be is how, first off, how do your strategies perform in general bull markets across all the different ones that we've seen over the past 12 years? Come up with an average for that. Are they more or less the same or not? That would be a very interesting thing to know. I'd imagine they probably are going to be. And then do the same thing for the bear markets and then combine them together and see if there's actually any measurable difference to begin with anyways. Because I've actually found a lot of the times that, especially with short-term time frame strategies, they actually don't change a whole hell of a lot. I mean, for one of the ones that I used to run, it was between about a 67% in a bull market versus a 61% in a bear market. It's like, it's not that big of a difference. But that was on a lot lower timeframes, and that was also in forex markets as well. So a little bit different there. Anyways, always test it on what you are actually looking to trade. Mural Gandhi says Matic USDT on the daily and 3 days. Sure, okay. Let's see, Polygon on Binance, and you're looking at daily and 3 day. Okay, this one actually holding it up relatively well compared to a lot of the other altcoins short term. That is, let me just go back down around here. I know you didn't ask about this time frame. Again, similar to Bitcoin, below about 31,250. The same thing here would be 81.5 cents or so. Daily, Wow, this one really got beat up to the downside. Okay, so do we see any potential issues over here? No, we do not have hidden bearish divergence potential at all yet. So that would be, I mean, it's not a good thing nor a bad thing. it's just not a thing. Next relevant level to the upside, if you can take out yesterday's high, is probably gonna be somewhere right around here. This prior breakdown, just around $1. Nice round even psychological number as well. Let's see what the 3-day says. Not really getting anything too much of interest right here. 3-day looks a lot more under pressure to myself. We do have potential hidden bullish divergence coming in all the way back from, holy shit, April. That will be confirmed. Okay, so here's what I would wait for. It's not going to happen today. It could happen tomorrow with any sort of a closure here or higher. I'd say above the 55 is going to be fair game, 88 cents or so. I would actually target a move all the way up to, just north of $1 if that were to happen, with potential for more as well. See if the weekly has anything of interest. No, I'm not getting too much from this either. Short-term timeframes, very similar to Bitcoin. Very, very similar to Bitcoin. This one a little bit more relatively strong in the short-term timeframes, though. I would generally be looking for this one to kind of follow. Again, as you know, as long as it's above 81.5 cents, I give it the benefit of the doubt here. Next short-term target to the upside would be actually 96.5 cents, with potential for that $1 target, and then potential for more after that. I really want to see that next 3-day closure, because I'm not getting anything from the daily. That's too obvious. I'm not getting too much from the 2-day. That's obvious as well. I mean, the only obvious thing would be taking out the last 2-day high. Very likely a move just north of $1 after that over the next 48 hours. Other than that, I know this ain't too helpful, but I'm not really finding anything that's super compelling here. This one does certainly act as one of the more strong ones short term. Definitely not long term. This one got beat up a lot more long term, but short term, yes. Okay, cool. Boris Rusky says, "Hey Krown, where can we find the advanced stochastic indicator?" Thanks, sir. It's actually one of my friends' private indicators. He'll probably release it at some point, but that's up to him, obviously. I mean, I don't own the rights to it, obviously, so he can do whatever he wants to do. Yes, Kendrick Camp came back. The rest of the question was how the IPO pricing works for something like ARB listed on a different exchange. Again, I'm actually really not the best person to ask about that. But the way that I understand things, like it'll probably be based off some reference price that has something to do with the underlying fundamentals. That would be my best guess. It'll probably be something similar to what you see on the London Stock Exchange. But other than that, I've never really traded an IPO myself. I've watched IPOs, but I've never actually actively traded one, and it's just not my game because, I mean, for obvious reasons, like if technical analysis is going to be my main edge, then you don't really have an edge. You don't really have an edge on the first day of trading, obviously. So I like to wait like at least a few years for something to trade before actually trading it or even considering trading it. All right, cool. God damn, man. God damn. Popcorn Eater says, "Hey Krown, I hope you're well, and I also hope that lady in the background is nice too." Me too, man. Can you tell me why NIO's chart on daily looks like Bitcoin's chart if we bull trap at the mid 40,000s? Let's see. This is NIO. What time frame are we looking at? Daily, yes. Okay, so would it look like Bitcoin's daily chart? If you're looking for a bull trap right here, or okay, I think I understand what you mean. So basically, you're asking if Bitcoin were to rally up into like the 40s or mid $45,000 territory. Would that be essentially what I'd be looking for on Bitcoin? Yes, exactly. So it'd be, nice move up from here. This would be your $29,000 low right here. This would be your $45,000 area prior breakdown right there. Beautiful back down, holds the $35,000 region and rallies off it. This would be the bullish look on it. Not necessarily the same sort of distributed phase over here, but that's kind of what you'd be looking for if you do want to be bullish. Yeah, I would agree. Kind of, if I understand your question properly, which I don't know if I do, but that's a lot of crystal ball bullshit. At the end of the day, we have to trade, the thing that's in front of us, but that's probably about what it looked like. Yes. Okay. All right. Lady, please, says Phillison. Alrighty, sirs and zers. I think I'm going to shut it off right there. I do want to end this one a little bit earlier today. Hopefully that's okay with everyone, but maybe not Randy from before. Are we not going for the full time either? Man, fuck that. Fuck that Krown guy. I hate him too. Anyways, we'll go back into Bitcoin here short term. I do think that the short term ranges are going to be getting this one relatively well. in this case, I give the BULAs the benefit of the doubt as long as we're above about 31,250 or so. If Bitcoin does take out that level to the downside, I mean, even just retesting it would not look too hot, but especially if we close even an hourly below there, I would look for another run. Generally speaking, down around our 29.5 lows right here, potential for more too. By the same token, I give the BULAs the benefit of the doubt right now, especially with short-term time frame momentum oscillators alongside the moon cycles. God damn it, I can't believe I'm doing it again. Having a bit of a reset right here alongside our medium and higher term time frame starting to turn up. Here's a 12-hour, here's your daily, and then 2-day could potentially follow tomorrow if we do see a closure above $32,000. That would be your next sort of tick, next sort of easier thing to be looking at. But if you're looking at short-term time frame ranges, just 32,250 or so, and I'd be looking for another run around yesterday's high. If we can actually trade above yesterday's high, I would extend targets somewhat significantly, I'd say, to the next relevant daily level. In this case, that would be your prior lower high, actually, right around mid to low $34,000 territory within like the next medium-term time frame will time. Anyways, with that said, I think we are done now. I think we're done for today. That's enough. That's enough tea leaves reading for now. I'll be back on tomorrow, hopefully, seeing as it is Friday. And with that said, take care. I wish you well and enjoy the outro tunes.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, XR, pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate. Pause it, list it, send it, burn it, pump it, hack it, quick rename it.